The scalpel's cold bite into my throat was the last thing I felt before the world went black. My mother's manicured nails digging into my shoulders as she whispered, "It's for the family, Madison. You'll understand in the next life." I gurgled blood, tasting copper and betrayal. My vision blurring on her Botox-smooth face twisted into something demonic under the sterile hospital lights. And then, nothing, except the echo of her voice promising I'd never wake up from that routine procedure. But I did wake up. Not in some pearly afterlife or fiery hell, but gasping for air in my old queen-sized bed in the cramped Brooklyn walk-up I'd rented 5 years ago. The one with the leaky faucet and the neighbor's endless reggae tone blasting through the walls. My heart hammered like a jackhammer. Sheets tangled around legs that felt too young, too alive. I bolted upright, fumbling for my phone on the nightstand. October 15th, 2018. Not 2023. Not the year I'd flatlined on that operating table. I'd gone back. God, or the devil, or whatever sadistic force ran the circus had hit rewind, dropping me right into the shitstorm before it swallowed me whole. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing water on a face that hadn't yet earned those faint crow's feet from boardroom battles. 28 years old again.
Madison Hale.
Rising star at Hale and Associates. The cutthroat Manhattan firm my daddy built from nothing before he keeled over from a heart attack 2 years prior. The inheritance he'd left me, the penthouse on the Upper East Side, the offshore accounts fat with real estate flips. The stake in the firm that could have made me queen of the concrete jungle was the noose she tied around my neck.
Mom. Evelyn Hale.
The viper in Louboutins who'd played the grieving widow to perfection while plotting to bleed me dry. It hit me like a freight train. The memories weren't dreams. They were receipts. The accidental overdose of fentanyl in my four during that emergency appendectomy she'd insisted I get,
Despite my protests.
the way she'd sobbed at my funeral, clutching my photo like a prop, all while lawyers she'd greased funneled my assets into her charitable trust. I'd trusted her. Hell, I'd idolized her, the single mom who'd clawed her way from Jersey trailer parks to Park Avenue galas. But she'd sold me out for a bigger slice of the pie, whispering to her sleazy boyfriend/accountant, Victor, about how Maddie's always been too soft for this world. Too soft. That's what got me killed. I gripped the sink, knuckles white, staring at my reflection until it blurred with rage. This time, I wouldn't be the dutiful daughter handing over keys to the kingdom. This time, I'd burn it all down before she could light the match. But rebirth wasn't a free pass. It was a loaded gun with one bullet. I had to play it smart, or I'd end up in that body bag again. First things first, document everything. I grabbed my laptop, fingers flying over keys as I jotted down every betrayal I remembered, the forged emails, the bribed nurses, the accidental leaks to the tabloids painting me as the unstable heir. By dawn, I had a digital vault of suspicions, encrypted and backed up to a ghost server I'd set up years ago. Paranoia?
Nah.
Just survival. Coffee in hand, black.
No sugar.
The way I'd trained myself after too many all-nighters, I suited up in my favorite power armor, a tailored black pantsuit from Bergdorf's. The one that made me feel like I could conquer Wall Street. The subway rattled me toward Midtown. The morning rush a blur of suited zombies and street vendors hawking knockoff Rolexes. New York hadn't changed. It was still a beast that chewed up dreamers and spat out husks. But I was different. Armed with the future, I'd navigate its guts like a shark. Hale and Associates loomed on the 47th floor of a glass monolith, all chrome and ego. The elevator dinged, And there she was, waiting by my office door, like a spider in her web. Evelyn, 52, going on ageless. Her ash blonde bob impeccable. Diamond studs glinting like warning signs. Maddie, you're early. Big day, client meeting at noon. Her hug was perfume and possession. Chanel no. 5 wrapping around me like a straitjacket. I forced a smile, inhaling the familiarity that now curdled my stomach. Wouldn't miss it.
Mom.
Love you. The lie tasted like ash, but it bought me time. Inside my corner office, floor-to-ceiling views of the Hudson, mahogany desk scarred from Dad's cigar burns, I booted up the computer. First order, audit the firm's books.
Subtly.
I pulled up the shared drive, eyes scanning for anomalies. There, Victor Lang's login, buried in the metadata. The weasel who'd charmed his way into Mom's bed after Dad's death. Then into the ledgers with his creative accounting. In my old life, I'd overlooked the discrepancies, chalking them up to grief-fueled sloppiness.
Now?
They screamed embezzlement. Millions siphoned into shell companies tied to Mom's name. My inheritance wasn't just at risk, it was already hemorrhaging. By lunch, I'd copied files to a thumb drive hidden in my bra, old-school spy shit. But effective. The client meeting was a blur, some hedge fund prick droning about tax shelters. Mom beaming at me like the proud puppeteer. Madisons are closer, she'd say, her hand on my shoulder a subtle claim. I nodded, played the part, but my mind raced ahead. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of calculated cuts. Step 1. Isolate the players. Victor first. I texted him from my burner app, anonymous. Untraceable. We need to talk. Coffee. 3 p.m. That dive on 52nd. Come alone. He showed. Paunchier than I remembered. Tie askew. Sweat beading on his forehead despite the AC. The booth smelled of stale fries and desperation. What's this about?
Kid?
Your mom said you're stressed. I slid a folder across the table. Printouts of his offshore transfers. Redacted just enough to dangle the noose. His eyes bulged. Where the hell? Doesn't matter. I cut in. Voice low. Laced with the steel I'd forged in death. What matters is you stop the bleeds on my accounts.
Today.
Or these go to the IRS. The DA. And every gossip rag from here to Hamptons.
Oh.
And tell Mom I'm auditing the firm. Personally. He sputtered, face purpling. You can't, Evelyn won't. Evelyn doesn't own me anymore. I leaned in, close enough to smell his cheap cologne. Betray me again.
Beak.
And you'll wish you were backpedaling numbers in some Jersey strip mall. He nodded. Broken. Scrambling out with the folder clutched like a lifeline. Small victory. But as I watched him go, a chill snaked down my spine. Mom wasn't Victor. She was the architect. Confronting her too soon would tip my hand.
No.
I'd let her think I was still the pliable daughter, unraveling her empire thread by thread. That night, alone in my apartment, I poured a glass of Dad's aged scotch, smuggled from his stash, and toasted the ghost in the mirror. To second chances. You backstabbing bitch. Sleep came fitful, haunted by flashes of that, or table, the monitors flatlining in sync with my pulse. But morning brought clarity. Phase 2, allies. In my past life, I'd burned bridges with the firm's old guard, too loyal to Dad to stomach Mom's takeover. Time to rebuild. I started with Harlan Graves, the grizzled paralegal who'd retired bitter after she restructured his department. His Greenwich Village brownstone smelled of pipe tobacco and regret.
Madison Hale?
Hell,
Girl.
you look like you saw a ghost. I laughed. Bitter.
Feels like it sometimes.
Over weak tea. I laid it out, not the rebirth. That'd land me in Bellevue, but the suspicions. Forged signatures on Dad's will revisions. Backdated to favor her. Harlan's bushy brows knit. I knew something smelled off. Your old man trusted me with the originals. Safes in my attic. Jackpot. By sundown, I had photocopies, the Real will, leaving 80% to me, 20% to her for life support. She'd buried it deep, but not deep enough. Empowered, I hit the streets, the autumn chill biting through my coat as I wandered Central Park. Leaves crunched underfoot, joggers blurred past. But my world narrowed to one truth. Family wasn't blood, it was choice. Mom had chosen greed. I'd choose fire. Yet doubt flickered. Was this justice or just vengeance wearing a mask? The controversial part gnawed at me. Exposing her meant dragging Dad's legacy through the mud. The firm into scandal.
Client fleeing.
Headlines screaming, heiress wars. But the alternative? Another grave with my name on it.
No contest.
As weeks blurred, I wove my web. Quiet transfers back to my accounts. Anonymous tips to the SEC about Victor's shells. Mom noticed the shifts. Her smiles tightening at dinner. Forced family affairs at Le Bernardine, where she'd probe with wine-loosened barbs. You're so independent lately.
Maddie.
Almost. Distant. I'd deflect with lies about work crunches, all while Harlan dug deeper, unearthing emails between her and a shady surgeon, Dr. Ellis, the one who'd wielded that scalpel. Coincidence? In my old life.
Yes. Now?
Motive stamped in black and white. By month's end, tension coiled like a spring. Victor had ghosted her calls. Harlan fed me dirt on her Hamptons lovers, plural, each with IOUs tied to firm funds. I was building a case airtight enough for federal court, but the real storm brewed when she cornered me in the ladies' room at a gala. Crystal flutes clinking outside. Her reflection loomed in the marble vanity. What's going on? Madison? Victor's useless. The books are a mess. If you're keeping secrets. Her eyes. Ice blue and predatory. Bored into mine. I met them head-on. Heart thundering.
No secrets, Mom.
Just protecting what's mine. The words hung. A gauntlet thrown. She smiled. Sharp as shattered glass. That's my girl. But as she air-kissed my cheek and sashayed out, I knew. The clock ticked faster. She'd strike soon. And when she did, I'd be ready to counter with everything I'd lost and everything I'd clawed back. November crept in like a thief. Gray skies dumping rain that turned Manhattan into a slick, neon-veined beast. I thrived in it, the downpour mirroring the storm inside. Morning started with black coffee and burner calls to private investigators, discreet outfits from the yellow pages. The kind that didn't ask questions for cash. Afternoons bled into eves at the firm, poring over contracts under the guise of billable hours. My highlighter tracing trails of fraud like a bloodhound. Nights, sleepless marathons scripting contingencies, if she sues for undue influence. Counter with the will. If she goes for character assassination, leak the affairs first. Harlan became my shadow. The old fox slipping into my office with manila envelopes and a flask of bourbon. Your ma's got claws.
Kid.
Dug up this from Ellis's records, off-book consult. Same day your dad signed the final codicil. Photos tumbled out, Mom and the doc. Cozy in a midtown bistro. Her hand on his wrist.
Blackmail?
Leverage? Whatever it was. It reeked of conspiracy. She paid him to tweak the anesthesia protocols, Harlan growled. Voice gravel. Standard procedure, my ass. That's how they get you, slow.
Quiet.
Deniable. I nodded, filing it away. Deniability was her superpower. Mine would be documentation. But revenge isn't clean. It chews at your soul, leaves you questioning every mirror glance. Was I becoming her? The decisions piled up, each grayer than the last. First big one, doxing Victor. Not full blast, no. A whisper campaign. I seeded rumors on legal forums. Anonymous posts linking his name to IRS audits. By Friday, his LinkedIn was dormant, his office desk cleared. Mom raged at brunch, silverware clattering. That incompetent fool, Madison. You're the only one I can trust now. Her eyes glistened, crocodile tears or genuine fracture. I couldn't tell anymore. And that scared me. Trust. The words soured on my tongue. In this loop, trust was a luxury for suckers. I doubled down on isolation, ghosting old friends who'd been her spies in my past life. Sarah, the sorority sister who'd accidentally spilled my therapy sessions to the press?
Blocked.
Tyler, the ex who'd testified I was unstable under oath? Vaporized. Loneliness was the price of clarity. A cold bed and takeout tie my only companions. But power surged through it. Electric. For the first time, I felt the weight of Dad's empire not as a burden, but a weapon. The twist came mid-month. A curveball from the grave. Sorting Dad's old files, dusty boxes Harlan smuggled from storage, I found a letter. Yellowed and sealed. Addressed to me. Maddie girl. If you're reading this, I know something's rotten. His scrawl. Shaky from the chemo he'd hidden. Evelyn's always chased the shine. But you're the heart. The real will's with Harlan. Don't let her twist it.
Love. Dad.
Tears blurred the ink. He'd suspected. Known. Even. And died without warning me, trusting I'd see through the fog. Guilt crashed. Hot and unrelenting. My revenge wasn't just for me. It was for him, the man who'd bootstrapped from Queen's mechanic to mogul, only to have his legacy pimped out post-mortem. Fueled. I escalated. Hired a forger. Ethical gray area. But necessary, to replicate Dad's signature on backdated transfers. Locking assets into irrevocable trusts under my name. Controversial? Hell yes. Illegal?
Borderline.
But in America's game of cutthroat capitalism, rules bent for the bold. Mom sensed the shift, her probes turning pointed. You're changing?
Maddie.
Harder. Like your father. We'd be at her favorite spot, the Polo Bar. Leather booths swallowing our words amid the clink of ice and highballs.
Ideship klub shoda.
Feigning fatigue. Just growing up.
Mom.
Firm needs strong hands. She'd laugh. Throaty and laced with Marlboros. But her grip on the stemware whitened. Victor's absence hit her hard. Whispers said he'd fled to Atlantic City. Tail between legs. Good riddance. But she adapted. Quick as a cat. Enter Lance Whitaker. Silver fox partner from a rival firm. All ivy polish and predatory smiles. I caught them at lunch, Le Cirque. power spot for mergers and mistresses. She introduced him as a consultant, but his eyes raked me like inventory. Later, Harlan confirmed, Whitaker specialized in hostile takeovers. She was gearing up to swallow me whole. Panic flickered, but I quashed it. Time for offense. I leaked a teaser to the Post, an anonymous source on irregularities at Hale and Associates. By morning, headlines buzzed. Legal dynasty in turmoil? Heiress probes mom's inner circle. Mom called at 7 a.m. Voice a whip crack. What the fuck? Madison? This you're doing? I played dumb. Heart pounding in the shower steam. Mom. I saw it too. We need to talk damage control. She bought it, barely, agreeing to a family summit at the penthouse. The Upper East Side spread was a monument to her ascent, Warhol prints on silk walls. A grand piano gathering dust since Dad's last recital. She poured martinis, extra dry, as thunder rumbled outside. Someone's gunning for us.
Maddie.
Victor? That weasel. I nodded, slipping in my hook. Or maybe it's deeper. Dad's will. I've been reviewing. Some clauses seem
Off.
Her martini paused mid-sip, eyes narrowing to slits. Off how? Like the percentages. I think there might have been revisions. Lie wrapped in truth. She set the glass down. Deliberate. Darling, grief makes us all paranoid. Your father wanted us secure. Together. But her foot tapped under the table. A tell from poker nights long ago. She'd bluff. But I held the aces. That night, alone in the penthouse guest room, strategic crash to bond, I hacked her laptop. Password? Our birthdays. Sentimental fool. Files spilled. Emails to Whitaker plotting a conservatorship bid, claiming my erratic behavior. Screenshots of my therapy notes, faked, fed by her plants. And there, buried and deleted, a wire transfer to Dr. Ellis. $250,000. Memo consult fee. MH procedure.
MH. Madison Hale. Proof.
My hands shook as I forwarded copies to my secure Dropbox, then wiped traces. Sleep evaded. Instead, I paced the marble floors, rain lashing windows like accusations. This wasn't just betrayal, it was matricide in slow motion. My own mother, engineering my end for a payout. Dawn broke slate gray. Over breakfast, avocado toast she pretended to love, I dropped the bomb. Mom, I'm filing for a full audit. Firm-wide. To clear the air. Her fork clattered. You what? Madison. That's suicide. Clients will bolt. I smiled, serene. Or it'll save us.
Trust me.
She stared, calculating, then softened into that maternal mask. If you insist, baby. But don't say I didn't warn you. The audit launched Monday. A blitz of accountants swarming ledgers like locusts. Mom played the wounded matriarch, lunching with bored allies. But crack showed, her laugh too shrill. Cigarettes chain-smoked in the exec lounge. I watched from afar. Harlan at my elbow. She's cornered.
Kid.
Rats always bite. He was right. Whispers reached me, Whitaker sniffing around shareholders, promising fat exits if they oust the unstable daughter. Controversy brewed. The board meeting was a coliseum, long table, egos clashing like gladiators. I presented findings, discrepancies totaling $4.2 million, funneled to personal accounts. Gasps rippled. Mom countered, voice quivering. Fabrications. Madison's under duress. Personal issues. She slid a dossier my way. Photos of me at dive bars. Evidence of breakdowns. Planted. All of it. The room polarized, old guard versus her cronies. Votes teetered. In the chaos, I made my gray choice. I invoked Dad's ghost. He built this on integrity. Not theft. Tears, real ones, welled. Sentiment swayed two holdouts. Motion passed, me as interim CEO. Her sidelined pending investigation. She stormed out, heels echoing like gunshots. Victory tasted bittersweet, adrenaline souring to dread. She'd retaliate. Hard. That eve, as snow flurried early over the city, my phone buzzed, unknown number. Madison, it's Ellis.
We need to meet.
Your mother's unhinged. The doc. Cracking? Or bait? I agreed. Neutral ground. A Starbucks in Hell's Kitchen. He arrived twitchy. Coat collar up. She paid me to. Adjust your meds. Future-proof.
But now?
She's threatening exposure. Confession spilled. The plot. From Dad's deathbed whispers of her affairs to the procedure, scripted as mercy kill. I recorded it all, hidden in my purse. Walking out, wind whipping my hair, I felt the noose loosen. But freedom's illusion. Mom's text lit my screen. Family dinner tomorrow. Don't be late. We have much to discuss. Trap? Summit? Either way, the game's endgame loomed. And in America's brutal arena, winners wrote the rules, losers, the obituaries. December dawned with a vengeance, holiday lights twinkling like mocking stars against the skyline. Manhattan dressed in tinsel and temptation, but my world was barbed wire and blueprints. The audit's fallout rippled, clients jittery. Competitors circling like vultures over roadkill. I doubled security, discreet tails on Mom's town car. My own apartment rigged with cams. Paranoia? Survival. Harlan joked it made me a Hale after all, but his eyes held worry. She's got nothing left but spite.
Maddie.
Spite kills. The family dinner was a farce from the start. Her penthouse glowed with forced festivity, catered spread from Daniel. A tree dripping ornaments like alibis. She greeted me in cashmere and pearls, Lance Whitaker at her elbow. His smile a shark's grin. Madison.
Darling.
Let's bury the hatchet. No Victor. Rumor had it he'd skipped to Belize with a stripper and bad tattoos.
Good.
Fewer pawns. We clinked glasses, hers gin, mine ginger ale, to better days. Small talk skirted minds. Firm gossip. Weather woes. But undercurrents pulled. Whitaker probed my strategy, eyes gleaming with acquisition lust. Mom played hostess, but her laughs rang hollow, fingers drumming crystal like Morse code for murder. Midway, she excused us to the study, Dad's old sanctum, bookshelves groaning with leather tomes and secrets. The door clicked shut. She whirled, face a mass cracked. You little bitch. Stealing my life? After everything I sacrificed. Spit flew. Eyes wild. I stood firm.
Back to the desk.
Sacrifices? Like killing Dad slow with those stress relievers and his scotch?
Or me?
For the payout. Her bluff crumbled, color drained. You don't know. I know Ellis sang like a canary. Tapes.
Mom.
Wires. It's over. I slid my phone across. Audio cued, his voice detailing the plot. Her payments time-stamped. She lunged, nails raking air. But I sidestepped, grabbing a letter opener, brass. Heavy. Touch me. And it's assault on top of conspiracy. She deflated, sinking into Dad's armchair, a sob racking her frame. It was for us. The firm was crumbling, your father's debts. I fixed it. Lies, but laced with half-truth. Dad's heart attack. Poisoned. Harlan's tox report confirmed post-audit. She'd accelerated his end for insurance. My stomach twisted. Us. Or you. The Hamptons. The lovers. The yachts. Tears streamed. Mascara black rivers. You're just like him, judgmental prig. Then, the pivot, soft, manipulative. Maddie. Baby. Forgive. We can split it clean. Walk away rich. Temptation dangled. The easy out. Part with half. Let her slink off to sunset sins. Controversial choice. Mercy or massacre. I wavered. Old love flickering. But the scalpel's ghost bit deep.
No.
You die in a cell. Or penniless on the street. Your pick. Her face hardened, venom returning. You'll regret this. She buzzed Whitaker. He burst in. Phone to ear. Cops en route. Evelyn. Conservatorship papers filed. Madison's a danger. Sirens wailed distant.
Closing. Betrayal encore.
She'd played me, dinner stall while he mobilized. I bolted. Elevator plummeting to the lobby as blue lights flashed curbside. The night swallowed me. Cab racing to Harlan's. She's escalating, I gasped, collapsing on his couch. He poured whiskey.
Steady.
We fight fire with fire.
Kid.
But this? It's war. By 2 a.m., we drafted counters, injunctions, media blasts. I slept in fits, dreaming of her face on the ore lights.
Whispering mine.
Morning brought siege. Tabloids erupted. Eris versus. Matriarch. Poison plot? My leak, timed perfectly, detailed the tapes.
Sans foolproof.
Public devoured it. Hail horror trending. Firm stock dipped. But loyalists rallied. Emails flooded. Stand strong. Madison. Power shifted. Intoxicating. But cost mounted. Protests outside the office. Feminists decrying daughter turns on mom. Pickets with signs blood over bucks. Controversy crested. I was villain or victim.
Depending on the feed.
Gray decision 2. Go nuclear. I authorized a full presser. Standing at podium in a red sheath. Blood on snow. Cameras flashed. Mics thrust like spears. My mother betrayed, not just me, but my father's vision. Evidence mounts, fraud, forgery, attempted murder. Clips of Ellis's voice played, blurred for drama. Gasps.
Shouts.
Mom's response? A tearful periscope from the penthouse. My baby's lost. Drugs? Delusions. Lies. But they stuck with the tabloid crowd. Fallout fractured alliances. Board split. 2 resigned. Citing family drama. Whitaker sued for defamation. His firm poaching clients. I countered with a $50 million countersuit. Dredging his own skeletons. Affair with a junior associate. Settled hush-hush. Dirt flew. Muddied waters. Nights blurred into strategy sessions. Takeout forgotten in favor of Red Bull and resolve. Loneliness deepened. A chasm. No calls to old flames. Trust evaporated. Only Harlan, paternal anchor, kept me grounded. Revenge is a thief.
Maddie.
Steals her light. He was right. Mirrors showed hollow cheeks. Eyes shadowed. But quitting? Not an option. Christmas Eve. Alone in the penthouse, I'd seized it via emergency order. She called from an unknown line. Merry fucking Christmas. Traitor.
Click. Chills.
Security swept, nothing. But dread lingered. A premonition. New Year's loomed. Resolutions mocking. I hosted a firm party. Mandatory morale boost. Champagne flowing in the conference room. Skyline fireworks bursting. Toasts to new beginnings. Mine felt like teetering on abyss. Midway, a courier arrived. Envelope. No return. Inside, photocopy of my suicide note, dated tomorrow. Forged. Her handwriting.
Panic spiked.
She planned to frame me overdose. Pills scattered. No blaming pressure. I rallied. Cops looped in. Safe house prepped. But the controversial call gnawed. Expose her fully? Or bait the trap? Bait 1. I leaked my itinerary. Late night at the office. Vulnerable. Decoys stationed. I watched from a van. Heart in throat. Midnight struck. Shadows moved. 2 figures, her. Hooded. And a goon, ex-cop. Her peril. They jimmied the door. Syringe glinting. Sirens wailed. My tip-off.
Bust.
Handcuffs clicked. Her scream echoing. Madison, you set me up. Interrogation room footage. Courtesy of a friendly DA. Her crumbling. Spilling to save skin. Whitaker. Ellis. Even bored cronies implicated. Conspiracy unraveled like cheap yarn. By Epiphany. Charges filed. Murder 1 dad. Attempted me. Fraud cascade. Bail denied. She glowered from holding. Ruined. Elation surged, then ebbed to ash. Victory. But Pyrrhic. Firm teetered. Inheritance tainted. I sold the penthouse. Donated proceeds to victims' funds. Ironic twist. Harlan retired rich off bonuses. I rebuilt. Brick by bloodied brick. But the hook lingered. Was justice served? Or just score settled? Mom's letters from Rikers pleaded innocence. Then rage. I burned them. Ashes to wind. Spring thawed the city. But my frost lingered. Walking the high line. Cherry blossoms mocking renewal. I pondered the twist. Rebirth's gift wasn't revenge, but reckoning. I'd refused her grasp. But at what cost to my soul? Lawyers still circled. Suits from her allies. But I stood taller. Unbowed. The storm passed. Blue skies beckoned. Yet in quiet, her whisper echoed. Regret every step. Maybe. But I'd walk them again. Summer heat baked the asphalt, turning New York into a pressure cooker of sweat and schemes. Months post-bust, the trial loomed like a guillotine state v.
Evelyn Hale.
Docketed for September in the federal courthouse downtown. I was star witness.
Reluctant celebrity.
Paparazzi camped my new Tribeca loft. Flashes popping like gunfire. Heiress Slayer? Screamed the post. Mommy dearest unmasked quipped Vanity Fair. Public feast on our carcass. Picking bones for clicks. Firm stabilized under my helm. Rebrands to hail legacy partners. Ethics pledge front and center. Profits climbed. Ironic phoenix from ashes.
But sleep?
Elusive. Nightmares replayed the ore. Her face morphing from mother to monster. Therapy helped, Dr. Lena. No nonsense shrink with a Brooklyn accent, unpacking the trauma. Revenge cements chains. Madison. Cut loose. Easy words, hard deed. Controversy peaked with plea deal whispers. DA offered manslaughter for dad. Conspiracy for me 15 years.
Eligible parole in 7.
Her lawyer, slick as oil, shopped it to me via backchannel. Family discount. He smirked over coffee at Dean and DeLuca. Gray choice 3. Accept. Or push for max. Mercy meant her out sooner.
Agostontin paroliring.
Max. Life without. But appeals dragging decades. My life in limbo. I chose push full trial. She doesn't deserve air. Let alone early release. Lena called it unresolved rage. I called it justice. Prep consumed summers, depositions in airless rooms, reliving betrayals under fluorescent glare. Ellis testified first, sweaty and small, detailing her consult for end-of-life facilitation. Jurors winced at wire transfers, his voice cracking on overdose simulation. Whitaker flipped next. Immunity for ratting, her bed warmer turned state's evidence. Spilling of fare-fueled frauds. Victor? Extradited from Belize. Pudgy and pleading. His ledger's the smoking gun. Mom's defense? Gaslighting gold. Star attorney painted her victim, abused wife. Desperate widow. Manipulated by entitled daughter. Therapy records faked deeper. My instability, the real villain. They subpoenaed Sarah, my ex-friend, who sobbed on stand. Madison changed after her father's death, distant, vengeful. Lies. But they landed. Jurors murmuring. Controversy boiled. Was I the betrayer? Twisting filial piety for greed? I took the stand day 10. Suit crisp. Voice steady. She killed him for money.
Me.
For more. Cross-exam was crucifixion. MS.
Hale.
Isn't it true you forged documents to seize control? Objection sustained, but damage lingered. Her eyes met mine across the well, defiant, then pleading. Flashback, childhood Christmases, her baking cookies with Jersey grit. Fracture deepened. Mid-trial twist, leaked audio, her jail call to a hack tabloid. Madison's the killer inside. I saved her from herself. Backfire. Outrage swelled. Justice for Madison trending. But cost? My privacy shredded. Doxers flooded inboxes. Threats scrawled on doors. Security tripled. I moved to a safe house in the Hamptons. Ironies bite. Her old playground. Harlan visited weekends. Fishing off the dock. Proud of you.
Kid.
But ended clean. His health waned, prostate. Stage 2, but he waved off pity. Live for us both. Anchor studying my drift. Lena pushed boundaries. What if she wins? Or you lose yourself? I journaled rebirth secrets. Catharsis in code. Died betrayed. Reborn to bury her. Climax brewed in closing. Prosecution hammered motive. Greed's ledger. $20 million empire hers to hoard. Defense wept filial bonds. A mother's love. Twisted by loss. Jurors deliberated 48 hours. Eternity in purgatory. I paced Central Park. Leaves turning fire red. Autumn nipping heels. Harlan at my side. Flask passed. Whatever comes. You won the war. Verdict dropped at dusk. Guilty. All counts. Murder 1. 25 life. Gavel fell. Courtroom erupted. She shrieked. Lunging at me, bailiff swarmed. Our eyes locked final. Hers shattered glass. Mine steel forged in fire. I hate you, she mouthed. Love you too, I whispered.
Gone.
Aftermath, media frenzy. Book deals dangled. I declined, focusing rebuild. Firm thrived, inheritance intact. But tainted, I funneled chunks to anti-fraud charities. Dad's ethics alive. Harlan beat cancer. Retired to Florida with a nurse named Rita.
Me?
Dated cautiously. A barista named Alex. Easy laughs over lattes. Normalcy's tease. But the controversial lingered. Her appeal. Filed day 1. Years stretched. Hearings in windowless rooms. I testified again. Voice firmer. Lena said healing. I said armor. Rebirth's lesson. Betrayal scars. But survival scars deeper. Mom rotted in Bedford Hills. Letters ceasing. Silence. Golden. One eve. Penthouse sold. I stood on the high line, full circle. City pulse below. Alive with possibility. Regret? Steps mine. Each deliberate. Lawyers stormed once, now. They bowed. Legacy mine, not hers. Winter circled back. A year post-verdict. Snow blanketing sins in whitewash. Life normalized-ish. Corner office upgrades. Board meetings sans drama. Holidays with chosen family, Harlan and Rita. Turkey charred but heartfelt. Alex stuck. His artist's loft a sanctuary of canvases and vinyl spins. You're a fortress? Mads, he'd say, tracing my laugh lines. But let me in. I tried. Peeling layers slow. Rebirth's secret stayed buried, some ghosts too heavy for daylight. Firm hit stride. Acquisitions stacking like Jenga, sustainable tech startups. Dad's bootstraps evolved. Profit soared. I greenlit pro bono wing. Fraud victims shield. Irony. Evelyn Hale's takedown births safeguards against her kind. Media faded to footnotes. Where is she now? Puffs and glossies. I dodged. Head down. Heels clicking purposeful. But twists linger in shadows. Spring unearthed one. Anonymous package at the office, Manila. No postmark. Inside. Dad's real journal. Pages chronicling her descent. Evelyn's eyes changed after the first affair. Greed's a virus. Entries dated months pre-death. Suspicion scrawled in margins. Harlan swore he destroyed it. Leak from her camp? Or guardian angel? I donated it to archives. Anonymized, truth's quiet release. Controversy resurfaced via appeal hearing. Summer swelter. Her lawyer. New blood. Claimed new evidence. My forged transfers. Twisted as elder abuse on Dad's ghost. Courtroom redux. But smaller stage. I countered with experts. Harlan's affidavits. Judge sharp-eyed Latina saw through, denied, remanded. Mom's hull echoed via clerk gossip. Final nail. That fall. Lena declared breakthrough. You've grieved the mother. Not the myth. Sessions tapered. I journaled less. Lived more. Alex proposed over dim sum. Ring from a street vendor. Quirky fit. No empires. Just us.
Yes.
Whispered amid steam. Wedding small, City Hall. Harlan best man. Vows exchanged under autumn leaves. Honeymoon in Napa vineyards rolling gold. Wine loosening tongues. I confessed fragments. Felt like dying once. Reborn harder. He held me.
No proofs.
Whatever storm we weather. Back in New York. Life bloomed. Bump discovered. Ultrasound wand tracing tiny heartbeat. Legacy literal. But Endgame's twist waited till December, anniversary of the bust. Letter from Rikers. Her script shaky. Madison. I was wrong. Cancer. Months left.
See me?
Punch to gut. Gray final. Visit or void. Lena urged closure. Alex. Choice yours. I went. Alone. Rikers chill seeping bones. Visitation booth. Plexiglass grimy.
Her frail chemobite.
Eyes sunken. Mom. Word cracked. She pressed receiver. Voice rasp. You won. Happy. Bitterness. Then break. I loved him. Then the shine. Blinded. You. Confession spilled. Dad's debts real. Her affairs escapes. My procedure. Mercy in madness. Thought you'd suffer like me. Twisted logic. But human. Tears mine first. You killed us both. A silence stretched. Then. Forgive. Controversial end. Absolution or armor. I chose middle. Understand. Not forget. Stood. Walked out. Snow falling soft. No happily ever, just healing's jagged edge. Years folded. Kid born. A girl. Alara. Fierce-eyed. From Global. Me CEO Emeritus by 40. Harlan past gentle. Toast at graveside. To second acts. Mom faded quiet.
Obit footnote. Evelyn Hale.
62. Legal pioneer. No service. I scattered Jersey Shore ashes. Waves claiming.
Now.
2025 dawns. 7 years looped. Tribeca mornings. Alara's giggles chasing demons. Alex sketches.
Advice pro bono.
Inheritance? Invested in dreams. Scholarships for Jersey girls. Ethics labs. Regrets? Steps mine. Stormed lawyers long bowed. Rebirth's gift, not vengeance's blaze. But dawn after. I refused her grasp. Built anew. Controversial? Damn right. Tense? Every breath.
Dramatic?
Life script. But mine unbreakable. Epilogue hook. Mirror glance. Faint scar on throat. Phantom? Or reminder? Smile back. Ready for whatever encore.